Hi, I'm Nusaba and this is how I made this tiny little animation. This is kinda my first proper animation, so let me show you how I made it. At first, I looked up for some photos of pancakes and maple syrup just to look for some inspiration. And then I quickly sketched some super chunky pancakes with a bottle of maple syrup. The next step was to draw the clean line art, and yes, I did take some time to draw the pancakes imperfectly so that they look nice and fluffy, unlike the plate of rice, for which I used a circle tool. Then I drew the bottle and quickly moved on to animating it. Step 1 of animation is googling how to do animations, and when I got the hang of it, I started off by drawing the maple syrup falling and then forming into a blob which turned into a rabbit with a pair of ears and eyes and a tail, and which will soon make a jump. I also animated its eyes so that they blink when it's squashed or stretched. Now that the little rabbit is ready to make its jump, I start to stretch its body. Why? Because our dear little bunny here is liquid. At first I drew a line so that it acts as a guide along which the bunny will make the jump. And then drew multiple bunnies frame by frame over that line while stretching its body until he was out of the frame. Next step is coloring the background, and I started from the bottom, which means at first I added a nice gingham patterned tablecloth and then added shadows underneath every object. Then I painted the plate, added shadows for the pancakes, and then I started coloring the pancakes. I chose a very light shade of yellow for the body of the pancake and brown for the top of it. And I finished it off by adding some highlights and shadows on it. I chose a shade of orange for the maple syrup and made sure that it was really close to the real maple syrup color. Then I tried out a couple of different text options to add as a label of maple syrup bottle. I wrote them separately and copy-pasted them on the bottle so that I can move them around and see how I liked them the most. I then added some color on the label and also the wall, but I will change the wall afterwards. Then comes the step that took the most time, and it is to color the maple syrup frame by frame. I had around 30 frames and I colored them all separately. I had fixed a color palette of around 3 colors and only colored the syrup without any highlights or shadows. Next time I animate, I'll be animating in a single color, or at least I won't be blending the colors because it takes so much time. Like, not only I had to use 3 colors in each frame, but I also had to make sure that they're blended. And this animation is only 2 seconds long. Things get even more complicated when the ears and eyes and tails appear because I have to add shadows for them as well. I copy-pasted a few frames on their next frame, but adjusting that frame also took some time, so yeah, it definitely was a very long process. Like, this clip is literally 2 times faster than the others. Enjoy the next few seconds of quiet time until I'm done with coloring. 2,000 years later, I was finally done with coloring all the frames. That's when I started to add highlights using white on my maple syrup, because who doesn't want their maple syrup to be shiny? Oh, and I also had reduced the opacity a bit of the maple syrup so that it gives a bit translucent effect. The last and final step was to add shadows. It's small but makes a lot of difference. I took a very deep shade of brown and started drawing on a new layer frame by frame over the pancake. And we're done animating it. For some final finishing touches, I added some music and also changed its wall color, and this is how it turned out. And that's my recipe for hopping syrup. Thanks for watching. Bye!